First off, how does it feel to be a world champion?
It's everything I ever dreamed of. It's still kind of settling in a little bit. You know, he's a very strong, very hard-hitting fighter, but I know that we'd be able to out-punch him and outwork him, and that's what we did tonight. So I'm very, very, very comfortable, very, very happy.
How were you able to keep up that pace the whole night?
You know, I've got to give a lot of thanks to Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, my coach. He would follow me going to Mount Charleston, going up this mountain for 5 miles every Saturday. Plus, I was putting in 7-mile runs 3 times a week. Plus my 5-mile run on Saturdays. A lot of running, a lot of hard work on the bag, and working on the mids. He was just very strict on being in great shape and knew when to give me days off, so I went overtrain. So he'd see some things and then tell me, okay, we're going to dial it back. How's your weight? It's good? Okay, we'll dial it back. You know, don't come in tomorrow. And everything really worked out. It was kind of working, you know, both smart and hard. So, I mean, I honestly had no idea that I was kept that pace up. That was the pace that we were fighting at. But I'm very happy, obviously, that that's where we were at with it. So,
how did you see the fight going into the decision? Did you feel it was close, or did you feel that you were the guy that was winning the fight clearly?
I'm a firm believer in you have to beat the champion. You know, and when you're in there, of course, you can always have a outlook like I'm winning the fight, but you don't really, you know, I don't have that outside eye. I'm not a judge. You know, I'm just in there throwing the punches. Obviously, I know that he landed some good shots himself. You know, he had a really good job of keeping his left hand out and hiding his right hand. It was a very strong shot. I felt like I had won, but it's not until you hear those words and the new will you actually, you know, allow that to settle in, and also you realize that you're now a champion.
Now, when you heard the wide scorecards, what'd you make of it? Because
I was thinking that there's no way that I lost, you know. But again, you got to beat the champion.
Right.
Doesn't matter where we're at. That he's from Japan and he's in the U.S. It doesn't matter where you're from. You have to beat the champion. So, of course, there's always gonna be that shadow of a doubt saying, you know, did they give it to him? But I'm always gonna feel like I won this fight. But until they say and the new. You know, scorecards sounded good, and it gave me more confidence that they weren't that close. That I felt like I was going to be the one who came up on top. But until they actually said and the new, and it's like a million pounds falls off your shoulders, and like, you know, you did it. You know, something no one will ever be able to take away from you. You know, I'll be able to tell my grandkids, my great grandkids, and I say that, but not like I'm content. Like this is where it stops. You know, obviously the journey keeps going. But this is something that, you know, I'll be able to. I've put my name in the history books.
Brant, how important was important when you lost with Brant to Dave Murata?
I learned a lot. I mean, that had a lot to do with the punch output in itself, because I know that every round you have to do everything possible in order to win. Because if you take time off, you just try to try not to get hit, just protect your undefeated record, you will lose a fight, you know, not doing everything you should be doing. So I decided that when I decided to fight Murata, who is the best competition in my eyes that I've ever fought, he's an Olympic gold medalist and a world champion, that I was going to let my hands go. I was going to punch. I was going to win. So and that's what I decided to do.
You made that with a lot of clean shots. Was at any point did you feel like, okay, this is it, I have him?
No, he never really. I mean, there was at one point where I thought that he was really hurt, but he didn't take a shot. Even the times where he would wobble a little bit or seem like he had completely faded, he would hop right back on the horse, and all of a sudden his hands would get high. He'd smile at me a little bit, and then I knew we were in a fight again. So, I mean, at no point did I feel like, oh, he's gone, he's ready to go. I mean, there was times where I thought that it might be it, and then that giant smirk would hit, and I'm like, shit, here we go. You know?
Yeah, both your promoter and his promoter said there might be a chance of a rematch in Tokyo. Now, how would you feel about having a rematch with him?
I think that's a harder fight even the second time around, especially considering it's going to be in his home country. But, I mean, I respect the champion. You know, he's a great champion, and it's something that will definitely get worked out. I mean, I just want to fight the best at this point, and I do feel that Murata is amongst the best. So I think that's for certainly, you know, it's on the table. But right now I'm just enjoying basking in the fact that
could you improve, though, now that you've gone 12 rounds with him?
Yeah, I think that I can definitely improve, but I mean, I'm not naive to think that he wouldn't improve as well. So I think that we would be able to improve at a faster rate than he would. I mean, typically with rematches like that, you know, the guy will win more so on the second time around, but that would make a long trip to Japan, because I mean, I do know that he did not take a long time when he came here. I think he's been here for less than a week or maybe a week or so, which I felt was kind of ill-advised. You know, when you take something seriously, you take an opponent seriously, you take the proper amount of time to acclimate to the time zone and the altitude. I don't feel like he did that properly, you know, so I think that going to his area is going to be that much tougher, but if I'm there for a month as well, we're going to have the same result in my eyes.
Seeing your face marked up, how did his power feel, and were you ever really hurt in the fight?
you know, he did a really good job of blinding me with one shot. I don't recall which round it was. He kept his left hand out, and I didn't even see the right hand. His glove just got a little smaller than a flash, and then hurt. I mean, it wasn't necessarily hurt; it was more of a flash. He's very strong. You know, he's very snappy. You know, at the end of the punch, but I wouldn't say I was in too much trouble. It was just a shot I certainly noticed.
Now, obviously, sparring and fights are totally different, but you've you've sparred plenty of rounds with one of the hardest hitting punchers in boxing with Errol Spence. How can you compare that power, just to kind of give people an idea?
I have nothing against Murata. Murata's a good, strong puncher, but I've never been in anybody that punch like Spence, though. Spence is barely human. That shit it's a different level. All due respect to, you know, to Murata, he does punch very hard and all that, but I mean, I had the back of my hand bruised by blocking a shot from Spence in 16-ounce gloves. You know, so it's just a little different in that aspect. But I mean, not taking away from Murata. Murata can knock you out with a shot. Right. You know, I mean, you know, Spence is a little overkill. If you have enough power to knock someone out, you have the power to knock someone out. Murata has that.
Now you're the regular champion, obviously. The super champion is Canelo Alvarez. How do you fit in that picture? You feel?
I mean, I feel like that's, you know, I put myself amongst the best in the world with when you win a title like this. So it's definitely, like I said, I don't ever look past anybody. So now it's my time to kind of sit down and look at what my options are going to be from this point forward, because I think it would have been a discredit to look past Murata and say, once I beat Murata, I'm going to fight this person. That's how you get beat, or that's how you get knocked out. You know, he's a very serious champion. I took him very seriously, and that's why we came away with the victory. So now that we've already taken that victory, it's time to look at what else is out there, because I fully understand it doesn't get easier from this point. This is the launching point from being, you know, the best competition in the world. You know, your name gets thrown in the hat with some of the best in the world at this point now. So it levels up. It doesn't level down.
Now, speaking of, you know, putting yourself amongst the best and best competition, by far, I think this is, you can't argue, it's one of the Fight of the Year candidates, if not Fight of the Year so far. Now, with people like the Zone and obviously the ESPNs that you fought on tonight, where can you see yourself, like, you know, because now the phone's gonna start ringing, and it's gonna start ringing tonight. How do you see that play out? Because obviously Canelo's with the Zone.
Yeah.
We just had Boo Boo come out victorious, win the title tonight. He's with the Zone as well. You know, could you see yourself working with them? Continue to work with ESPN?
I mean, honestly, I'm a gun for hire. You know, I mean, if it comes down to a hire, it's a really tough situation. You know, I mean, ESPN has been great to me. You know, I really enjoyed working with Top Rank and ESPN. I mean, I could see myself working on the ESPN circuit as well as doing the Zone. I mean, with belts comes a lot of power to make decisions like that. So it's just what comes down to make sense. Again, you know, I didn't really ever look at it. I've never been forced to really face myself with those decisions, because I was so nearsighted in the fight with Murata, you know, that I didn't really think about what happens next. And now, you know, you guys are asking questions that's hitting me like shit. Like, this is very real now. Right. You know, these are very real questions. They're going to need answers and soon. You know, because I'm not somebody that wants to sit on the shelf for very long. I want to get right back into boxing.
What about next week? You've got another championship fight in your division with Devinchenko and Danny Jacobs. How do you see that fight playing out?
Oh, that's going to be a fun fight to watch. I personally have Jacobs. I think Jacobs is one of the best. Obviously, Devinchenko wanted to fight for a reason. It has many rounds they spar together, so it could be really interesting. I think the fight's going to heat up relatively quickly, and I'm excited to watch it.
But you have Jacobs with the edge? I
have Jacobs with the edge, but I'm not as familiar with Devinchenko. So okay. I mean, I just have it from I used to play as Danny Jacobs in like 2008 on Fight Night, so like I'm a little bit, you know, jaded, and I'm a little bit skewed toward Jacobs for that aspect. So
I know you said you would do a rematch, but would you do an immediate rematch with Murata?
Again, these are I would. I mean, I respect him enough to understand, you know, that he made a mistake of coming out here early and or not coming out here early enough. And I understand. I mean, it's definitely something that's on the table. I mean, I'm not going to turn anything down. It's what makes the most sense at that time. I would definitely take that fight again.
A lot of bucks too.
That is definitely a contributing factor. I'm not going to lie to you. But
explain to me the motivation that you were talking about earlier this week about maybe looking past you. Tom Loeffler was here, and everyone's talking about Triple G, and that upsets you a little bit. You know, you mentioned already people looking past people.
I felt like it was a little, again, I don't know how much it was him personally, but it was very disrespectful. I'm going on to my Facebook page and going on boxing sites and seeing Tom Loeffler showing up as a potential fight for Triple G next.